sir. Welcome to episode 2 of the PACT Sports Recap. I am your host, Damon Geis, along here with my good brother, Bruiser Carter. How you doing today, man?
I'm good.
Good?
I'm good.
We got a lot to get into today.
Week 2 was very eventful.
Very eventful. And I know
injuries.
y'all heard the intro track. We start off with Monday Night Football. The fallout from the Browns and Jets. Odell, man. Greg Williams came out very disrespectful, like Odell hasn't been playing there.
You don't disrespect the LSU legend.
We can't do that, man.
Nope, not at all.
And Odell came out and taxed him. 89-yard touchdown. Finished the night with 6 grabs for 161 yards and a touchdown on 10 targets.
Crazy.
The Browns ended up beating the Jets 23-3 in MetLife. The Jets dropped to 0-2, and the Browns will improve to 1-1. The Browns will move on to L.A. in another primetime game, which is very
Sunday Night Football.
Can you believe that this game is in Cleveland? I can't tell you the last time I saw a game
Cleveland,
outside of
this is for you.
a game outside of Monday Night Football in Cleveland. Sunday night, man, this is crazy.
But for this Monday Night Football game, though, they were expected to win this game.
They were
in a blowout fashion. Since
they were.
Sam Darnold, the Jets quarterback, was out with mono and other injuries they were dealing with.
Prayers up to Trevor Siemian, man. Broken ankle out for the season. Prayers up, man.
So, I think we could write the Jets off. I think when the news of Darnold having mono and being out for multiple weeks, I thought their season was over right then and there. So, this was a must-win game for the Browns, win or lose, with or without Darnold playing, for them to get back on track to meet their high expectations, and they found a way to maintain. The defense getting heavy pressure. Secondary's playing lockdown defense, forcing fumbles, getting pressure on the quarterback. So, good game for Freddie Kitchens and that Browns organization.
Yeah, and I definitely think when you look at all the talent that the Browns have, I mean, we, of course, expect them to win a game like this, but I think win or lose next week, it'll be a lot. It'll show a lot. I definitely like what I saw out of Freddie Kitchens, just going for it on multiple fourth downs, continuing to be aggressive.
Trusting his defense.
Right. You didn't see most of that sloppy play with all the penalties that we saw in Week 1 against the Titans.
Well, Myles Garrett did have two roughing the passer.
Two roughing the passers, yeah.
Yeah, he was getting there.
But
he was hungry for that game.
When you look at that guy and he had 3 sacks, I mean,
leads the league in sacks too. 5 sacks.
You're willing to take a couple of those penalties. So, but you know, for the Browns, they will take on the Rams next week in Sunday Night Football. I think that'll be a good test for them. See where they stack up as far as this will be their first real test as far as contenders, because with the Titans, I mean, even though they put the shellacking on them,
Mr. Unpredictable.
Mr. Unpredictable. Mr. Unpredictable. With that being said, though, we will move on to our next segment. Sunday in 3 words and 30 seconds for each.
Not 1, not 2.
3 words.
3 words, yes, sir.
We're going to start off with Cardinals versus Ravens. Future is bright. And I'm not talking about just for the Ravens. I'm not talking about just for the Cardinals. I'm talking about for the NFL. You look at these 2 quarterbacks. They can get it done with their arms. They can get it done with their legs. You have Lamar Jackson on one side, who may very well be leading the MVP race right now. And Kyler Murray, who for sure, in my opinion, is leading the Offensive Rookie of the Year race. In 3 years, I can't wait to come back and see where these guys are doing retrospectively. I definitely think the league is in for a treat.
My 3 words for this Cardinals versus Ravens game: not an RB. Lamar Jackson. 272 yards, 2 touchdowns on 37 attempts with 24 completions. Like, Lamar's game is just, like, right now it's almost unstoppable, because he's a dual threat. And we don't see that. We haven't seen that much in the NFL. We haven't seen that much in the NFL, but since recent times. But Lamar had a $120 on the ground on 16 carries and over 250 yards plus passing. So for other opposing teams, it might be hard to stop this team, the Ravens, with Lamar Jackson. And on their weapons, who should you stop? Mark Andrews is his security blanket. Marquise Brown, deep threat. Mark Ingram, power runner. So I feel like on this Ravens team, there's no one player you could zone in on, and that's what makes this team dangerous. Plus, with Lamar Jackson, dual threat ability. So it's a tough test next week against Kansas City and KC. But last year, the Ravens almost beat them in KC last season if it wasn't for a miraculous 4th down pass. So the way I'm leaning towards that game, I'll let you know my predictions on the Pack Life podcast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Moving on, Cowboys and Redskins. Not sold yet. I know Dak had a pretty good game. Devin Smith, shout out Ohio State, caught a deep ball. But this is the Redskins, man. We look at who they played last week in the Giants. Played the Redskins this week. Those are division games, which were supposed to be tough, but it just didn't have that feel to it. And then this week they'll take on the Dolphins. I mean,
we all knew their first 3 games were sweet, and possibly the first 4 games with Drew and his injury.
Exactly. So, I'm not too sold on the Cowboys yet. Check back with me in a couple weeks when they take on Aaron Rodgers at home, and we'll go from there.
For me, put Dwayne in. Come on, Washington. We saw the news today that Daniel Jones will be starting for the New York Giants. It's time to put Dwayne Haskins in Washington. Case Keenum, he had a decent game, a good game, not a horrible game, but you're not winning games, and you wasted a first round pick on getting Haskins from OSU. So he needs to get those in-game reps in so he can be the future of your organization. It should start week 3.
And I'm ready to see that Ohio State connection, Haskins to McLaurin. It's time to get it going.
OSU taking over the NFL.
Yes, sir.
Shout out Big Ten.
Shout out Big Ten. Colts and Titans. Never trust Tennessee.
Never.
We told you guys this last week. The most unpredictable team in the league. Go down to Cleveland and stomp out the Browns, and then come back and lose to Jacoby Brissett and the Colts at home. When you look at this Titans team, you literally never know. Marcus Mariota, one of my favorite college players ever. You're not going to beat nobody throwing for 154 yards on 28 attempts. It's just not going to happen. It's a team without an it factor, and I think that's what they lack, and that's what will keep them out of the playoffs for a second straight year.
Do you give them the benefit of the doubt since it is a divisional game that sometimes their play can be shaky because you throw the records away and they just let them play?
Well, I don't, because if you looked over the past few seasons, Andrew Luck has dominated this team.
Okay.
So it's just been from the fact that he's gone. This is our opportunity to take the only people that were in our way of running with the division, and they come out and you put up 40 the week before, and you can't even give me 20 this week.
True. At home.
So I know Tennessee isn't very much of a home team, but, man, you just got to break through and take games like this because, I know it's any given Sunday, but this is a game that you have to take.
Important division game. My 3 words for this game is shout out Bill. Man, Jacoby Brissett, 146 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 INT, but not to take away anything from the Colts, but the mind of Bill Belichick. Getting these quarterback talents in New England and trading them away. Maybe he didn't, maybe he did, or maybe he did not want to trade these players, but him just scouting talent and knowing what could have been best for the Patriots' future. Shout out Bill. Had Jimmy Garoppolo on that roster, Jacoby Brissett, and they moved on from both. And maybe Bill found another great backup in Jerry Stidham. So,
right.
Shout out Bill, man. But the Colts played a good game. I like what they're doing, and I do like them winning week 3. Not to get ahead of though.
Oh, I got them over the Falcons as well. But I do just want to say it's very crazy when you look at it. All 3 Patriots quarterbacks, Brady, Garoppolo, and Brissett, walked away on Sunday with a win. Plus, most people say that with Belichick trading Brissett to the Colts and trading Garoppolo to the 49ers, he was doing a favor. But if Brady keeps up like this and keeps getting these weapons, there's not much really the league can do about it. Those guys would have just
Brady
been on the bench.
Brady wants to play till he's 45, so that's 3 more years.
I can see it. He's not getting hit.
He's not. Do you think it's the system, or is it just Brady's greatness?
Man, you know what I'm gonna say. It's the greatness of Brady, man.
But Bill's system, it just seems like it flourishes with like all the moving pieces around Brady always work. And we seen that year when they lost Brady to a torn ACL, they went 11-5. So
I think,
and when Brady was suspended those 4 games, they were 3-1 with Brady out.
Yeah, I understand that, but at the same time, I feel like that argument was diminished when Belichick let the Eagles do him that way in the Super Bowl, and Brady sat there and broke a passing record for 500 yards in the Super Bowl. So,
but then the next year he hosts the Rams to 3.
He holds the Rams to 3, but you don't send a boy in to do a man's job, and that's what Jared Goff was last year in the Super Bowl. Moving on, though, Seahawks Steelers. Big Ben out. Big Ben has been put on IR for the rest of the season.
We predicted a retirement, but not injury.
Yeah, we didn't want to see him go out this way. But, for my Seahawks, Russell Wilson comes out, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Both of my running backs put up 60 rushing yards, and Tyler Lockett with 10 catches. That's after only having one for a touchdown last week. But the biggest story for me from this game is DK Metcalf. He had 7 targets, was able to put 3 catches to those, 61 yards and a touchdown. When you look at just what this guy is, I don't want to go ahead of myself, but just the speed, the strength, the way that he's able to make separation at the highest point, I am comfortable with saying I could see a very good Julio Jones type career in his lane. Metcalf.
Interesting. Very interesting.
And I definitely think it'll be a big test for him. This will be the best corner he'll go up against so far. But if Marshawn plays the way he has the last couple of weeks, it'll be a very rough week. But for the Steelers, you got Mason Rudolph who came in that fake dump down and dish to
played a good game for what it's worth.
Yeah, so I think
lost by 2 as well.
This could be a changing of the guard. But just prayers up to big men, man. If you're going to come back next year, let's just see you come back and prove the doubters wrong, including us.
Including you.
Including me.
Don't get what I'm about to say. Don't get it confused, because I still love Mike Tomlin. Okay.
All right.
I love him, and he should have a job.
Okay.
But my 3 words is Mike Tomlin. That's me hitting my wrist. Mike, I love you, Mike Tomlin. I really do. Black head coach, putting on for the culture. I respect you. 2 Super Bowl championships in your season career at Pittsburgh, but you lose Le'Veon. You lose AB. Now you lose Big Ben to injury. There are now comparisons saying that this is the OKC's big 3 when they had Durant, Harden, and Russell, and you couldn't win with them. And I know Brady and the Patriots are just a hard team to beat, but all those chances, you couldn't get the job done. And now it's Rudolph, Connor, and Juju Smith-Schuster.
Changing of the guard.
I do not think you should be fired, Mike Tomlin. Not this season. But next season, you're
on the clock.
You're on the clock, man. You're on the clock. But shout out Mike Tomlin, though. I feel there's still a chance you could turn this around, but you do go to San Fran next week, and
that's gonna get.
The boys are hot.
That could be ugly. Moving on, Bills and Giants. I like Allen. I like Josh Allen.
You're a winner.
I like Josh Allen. Bills go to New York, take down the Giants, 28-14. Now, while Saquon was able to get off for 107 yards,
he did have a big run.
Generational talent.
Talent.
So we gotta ride with that. But you look at Josh Allen, he's moved away from forcing the ball in the red zone, 19 for 30, 253 yards and a touchdown. He's doing this without a true number 1 back. I know the greatness of Frank Gore and Devin Singletary.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but do you think the Bills have an actual shot of making it to the wild card?
Oh no. Let's
even though they're 2-0.
Let's slow the roll. I really like. Shout out Sean McDermott, man. I really like what he's got going on. But when your number 1 option is John Brown / Cole Beasley, you just don't have a shot. And
but their defense is so
I understand that, but
they're there.
Next year, they have to make a splash in free agency or something along those lines, because I really like Josh Allen. I like what he can do with his legs. He has one of the biggest cannons in the league. Sean McDermott and him seem to have a good relationship as far as laying down the law and putting it out there and letting it known how this game is going to be managed. I really like what they got going on. Now, do I think it'll last as far as the whole season? No, they have to see New England, and I do expect them to.
Do you think the Bills? I think the Bills can possibly steal a game from New England.
Oh no,
I do think that in Buffalo, I think they can.
You're going a bit too far.
And one more thing, I'll put you on the spot. Top 5 quarterbacks from that draft class that was in the first round: Lamar, Darnold, Baker, Allen, and Jackson, and I think I said them all, and Rosen.
Mm-hmm. Josh Allen's number 2.
Who's number 1?
Lamar.
Wait, where's Baker?
Okay, I put Baker number 2 and Josh Allen number 3.
You got Lamar number 1?
Yeah.
Stop.
I have to take this season into consideration. What has Baker done for me in a big game?
But Lamar's on a better team.
But what has Baker done for me in a big game?
He'll show you Sunday night. Don't worry.
I hope he shows me Sunday night.
And you have
knock the Rams off.
Darnold 4th and Rosen 5th.
Darnold's definitely 4th. He led the league in interceptions last year.
And Rosen, because he's
Rosen.
Got you.
Yeah.
My 3 words is Daniel Jones time. News coming out today that they are putting Daniel Jones in after the Giants are looking towards a failing season after losing 2014 to the Bills. So, like my man Lil B said on the Pack Life podcast, Daniel Jones had some good moments in the preseason with the twos, throwing dimes here and there, under pressure and making great throws. So let's see what you do next week, Daniel Jones. Make us a believer, because draft day, everybody was hating on you. Prove them wrong, Daniel. Let's see. Let's get it.
49ers and Bengals. That Shanahan offense.
I told you.
He's a guru, man.
Apologize.
He's a guru. I apologize.
Zach Taylor, what?
Zach Taylor, man, you let me down. You let me down. Jimmy G came out and balled. 17 for 25, 297 yards, 3 touchdowns. Did have the interception, but I think the biggest thing to take away from this game is the 49ers run game, man.
Yes.
Matt Breida. You look like on Sundays we'll watch the Red Zone channel, and every time they went back to the Red Zone, the 49ers had the ball and then a different running back was making a play. You look at Matt Breida, 12 carries for 121 yards. 10 yards per tote. That is crazy. Raheem Mostert out of Ohio State. 13 carries, 83 yards. Jeff Wilson, the guy that we didn't even know coming into this week. 10 carries, 34 yards.
Like,
2 touchdowns.
it's similar to how his system was in Atlanta. How it was
Freeman
and Coleman, just them being a dynamic, like, two-head duo.
Right.
But now with San Fran, with the entry of Tevin Coleman and Jerick McKinnon, he's able to use a variety of running backs. That are able to put in and out of different situations in San Fran. So it's just Kyle Shanahan, that mind is working. It's
turning. Yeah.
Yes, sir. After a slow start to his career and coaching career in San Fran, Jimmy Garoppolo looking healthier by the week. And like I said last week, here they come.
Oh, Lord.
And my 3 words are, come back, AJ. Now, I realized that Tyler Boyd had 10 receptions, 122 yards. And
on 10 targets.
On 10 targets. John Ross had 4 catches for 112 yards and a touchdown. But and Dawes had 311 yards, but you lose a blowout game 41-17.
It might be the defense.
But
or the Shanahan offense.
But their offense, with Zach Taylor, not offensive genius, but he shook Sean McVay's hand. He should have this offense moving, but they're only put up 17 points this week.
Now, I do want to say...
wait, I didn't mean to cut you off, but Joe Mixon... Come on, Joe.
Yeah, that's my next point, though. Joe Mixon is a little bit mixed up.
He is.
And, you have to take that consideration. May have been a bit predictable.
Yeah, but I do feel like when A.J. Green comes back, this offense should be in a better condition than they were from this week. Because, like you said, first home game with Zach Taylor should be a new feeling, dawning of a new era in Cincinnati, but you get blown off your field. So I think when AJ Green comes back, the offense will be in better shape.
Chargers versus Lions doesn't mean much. I mean, let's just be honest, man. I feel like the Chargers came out and didn't play up to their competition. And the Lions came out and did what they're supposed to do at home.
I mean, when you have a kicker who can't make a field goal.
Exactly, man. But I do want to say, Austin Eckler, hell of a player, man. Melvin Gordon should get back as soon as possible because this guy is taking his job single-handedly, running routes out wide, goal line carries. He's able to do it all, man, and I really like what he's bringing to the table.
For me, Lions figuring it out. 1-0-1 should be 2-0, should be Arizona week 1, but I think with Matt Patricia and Darren Bethel as the OC, they're starting to figure it out. Matthew Stafford had 245 yards for 2 touchdowns, even though he did have 2 INTs in it, but he did face a fierce Chargers defense. But Kenny Galladay, 8 receptions, 111 yards, 1 touchdown on 10 targets. Again, the run game wasn't as potent, but it was still there. It was a threat. There. Yeah, it was a threat still. And their defense showing up. Darius Slay having a big pick in the game. Wins come in different shapes and sizes, and sometimes they're not gonna be pretty. And if Detroit can be a grimy team that can grind out these games while the offense is still figuring it out, not gonna say the Lions are going somewhere, but they're figuring it out.
Okay. Vikings versus Packers. I'm gonna let you take the starts on this one. Right?
Come on, Kurt. That's my 3 words. Come on, Kurt.
Do you even want to add anything else? Because it was really disgusting what I saw out of this guy.
He was doing good.
He was doing
good until the red zone INT where he forced it in double coverage. these are I like Kirk Cousins, I really do, but these are why you yourself and other analysts and critics criticize him for his decision making and doing it in like pressure situations. So 230, 1 touchdown, 2 INTs this week. I cannot defend you, Kurt. Next week maybe you gotta show me, but this week I cannot. But shout out Dalvin Cook though.
That guy's
I
a monster.
saw a tweet that said a healthy Dalvin Cook is better than Zeke and Gurley.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either. But as a
that.
pure runner,
oh no, he's got them burners.
Dalvin Cook is the man.
Now,
so yeah, shout out Dalvin.
My 3 words: potential 1 seed.
I can see that.
Aaron Rodgers has a defense.
Well, potential. They didn't score it after the first quarter. They didn't score no more though.
Hey man, he has a defense. He has one of the most elite receivers in our league.
Factual.
Shout out Devontae Adams, my guy. Aaron Jones. Did you see what they did against that Vikings defense? 23 carries and 100 rushing yards for a Packers running back. That is unheard of.
Didn't know which Aaron to focus on.
Right.
Jones.
Aaron. Those guys in Green Bay, man, I like them as the number 1 seed. I could see it.
And they did face 2 tough defenses in the first 2 weeks, and they ain't gonna see defense like Chicago and Minnesota every week. So
right.
Green Bay, that Matt LaFleur offense, let's see if they get it clicking soon.
I could see them going undefeated at home for sure. Because they do got to go to Kansas City and Dallas. But
undefeated at home.
But
where do they play the Chargers?
I believe that's at home as well.
That game's gonna be good.
I don't know about that one. I really like the Packers defense.
That's in LA.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So you might have some little truth to that.
Mm-hmm. Now, next Jaguars versus Texans. I like the decision. I definitely like the decision
the
to
2-point conversion.
Yes, I like the decision to go for the win for Doug Marrone. But what I did not like was the play call. You have Leonard Fournette. You're not running that thing out of shotgun. You need to get in the I formation, give it to him, and let him fly over. He doesn't have that, burst of speed in that second to dive out of shotgun. You got to get him in the I formation and let him see where he's going.
Mm-hmm.
But besides from that, I mean, this is exactly what a division game is supposed to be.
Yep.
12-13. We know the
Jaguar defense still tough and elite.
Right. We know what DeAndre Hopkins and Jalen Ramsey, which I'll get to in a second later in the show, but we know what those 2 guys are going to bring to the table. Basically try to cancel each other out and then go from there. So the Texans winning this game, I think that's what most people expected.
Yeah. Do you think if Nick Foles played, the Jaguars win this game?
It's hard to say.
It is hard to say.
It's hard to say because
Gardner didn't have that bad of a game,
right?
But it seemed like he was just managing the game as well till
the last minute,
later parts of the
right?
game.
Nick Foles and something I saw out of Gardner was he was able to make some stuff happen with his legs. Rushed for 6 carries for 56 yards. Nick Foles isn't doing that. So
True.
You look at that.
But Nick Foles, he'll have more than 213 yards though, I believe.
Against that defense at
Super
home.
MVP.
Against that defense at home, I don't know about that one, but I could definitely see your point.
Got you. And my 3 words is free Jalen Ramsey, but that analysis is coming later in the show. But free that man.
Pats and Dolphins, more than booming. Business is more than booming. I believe you all know what that means. I know you all saw that Antonio Brown back shoulder from Brady.
Off, though. Little push off though.
But Tom Brady, the GOAT, doing what he does, 20 for 28, 264 yards, 2 touchdowns. But in the meantime, let's talk about this defense, man. This defense is disgusting. I know they played the Steelers and Dolphins.
And we're playing the Little League team. Varsity versus JV was looking like out there.
But still, 2 pick sixes. I mean, between 2
Gilmore,
weeks,
dog.
3 weeks, 3 points in this era, that's pretty hard to do no matter who you're playing, dog.
I saw you tweeted that Gilmore may be the best corner in the NFL. Would you like to stand on that point on the podcast today?
I love Jalen Ramsey, and I would love to see him in Seattle. But, yes, I will be standing by that point.
Got you.
And the reason I say that is because in the biggest games, Stephon Gilmore is always rearing his head. You look in the Super Bowl pick. You look in the AFC Championship a few years back against the Jaguars.
Yep.
4th down, deflection. You look this week, deflection into a pick. You look this week, pick 6.
Yeah.
So this guy is all over the field. He just continues to make plays in the biggest games, and I believe that's what makes you the best.
And he takes their best corner.
Right. Devontae Adams, I saw him shut him down, and I saw him take away Juju week 1. It's just something that he does and that he takes pride in doing. And I know Jalen does that and the Patrick Petersons of the world, but when you look at this guy and it's a consistent basis, and you look at just the Patriots letting Malcolm Butler walk,
Yep.
that shows you how much they believed in this guy, and I think he's the best.
My 3 words for this game for the Miami Dolphins is gotta stay down. I see that losing isn't fun with player mobility booming in the NBA, and now reminiscences are coming to the NFL with AB, Minka Fitzpatrick getting moved, and Jalen Ramsey on the block. But this Dolphins team, man, they're acquiring picks and assets similar to the OKC Thunder, but not that far in the future. But they're acquiring draft picks for the future, and I think if these players decide to stay down, this could be a great team. When post Brady, the Dolphins could be a great team. Adding, I believe they will get Tua Tagovailoa in the draft this year. They have enough draft picks they could possibly trade up and get a great receiving threat in Jared Judy to have that connection and fix the offense and fix the defense. And I believe in Brian Flores, despite the team being 0-2 and they can barely put up points. I think if this team stays down, if the fans stay down, the team stay down, post Brady, this team could be dangerous. That's probably my analysis for the Dolphins every time they lose.
Yeah. Stay down. Chiefs versus Raiders. The NFL's Curry.
Yeah.
The NFL's Curry. I mean, you look at this guy, just erupts in the second quarter, and this Patrick Mahomes boy goes crazy, man. I mean, 4 touchdowns in the second quarter. Finished the game 30 for 44, 443 yards. And his number 1 receiver for this game was Demarcus Robinson. 172 yards, 6 touchdowns,
Go get him in
6
fantasy.
receptions.
Get every Chiefs receiver you can in fantasy.
My thing, and shout out fantasy football, but if you have a Chiefs wide receiver, you just got to play him every week because there's that possibility you may get 40 points.
It's really like Golden State.
Right.
Shooting threes is like...
You didn't get enough catches last game. Let's go ahead and get you 7 this game.
Give you a no-look.
It's just ridiculous, man. That's all I have to say. He's ridiculous.
I think is he leading MVP? I know you have Lamar high, but Mahomes' stats are just out of this world.
Let's get to that in a minute.
My 3 words for this Chiefs-Raiders game is Hard Knocks Life. I told you.
I like that one.
I told you. The Raiders teams, West Coast teams play different Monday Night Football. I believe that with the Niners and the Raiders, those teams always do great on Monday Night Football when they kick off the season. But after that, they show their real selves. Derek Carr, 198, 1 touchdown, 2 INTs. And Chris Jones and Frank Clark were getting pressure. Chiefs secondary was getting picked. So I was never sold on this Raiders team. I knew it was a tough task playing Chiefs. They were the AFC Championship last year. But this is a divisional game. You get beat by 18.
But my homeboy.
It is Mahomes, but that's not. It can't be an excuse. I'm sorry.
They had him up 10 to 0 in the first. At the end of the first,
and then they scored
he
on the
turned
first
it on.
drive.
He turned it on. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, so
nobody else has that though. So I feel like the verdict is still out on Oakland.
What you mean?
He's just so special. You really can't compare him to anybody else. Yeah, he can catch fire at any time.
Any quarterback could do that though.
Not like him. Not like
but
him.
I'm still not sold on Oakland despite them playing great on Monday Night Football and lose to a good team. Oakland will still have to show me, so we'll have to see.
Okay. Saints versus Rams. A helping hand.
I hate you for that.
A helping hand. Man, I just want to say, Zebras, you got to stop, man. You got to stop. You got to stop screwing the Saints. You got to stop screwing
Mickey
the
Loomis,
city of New Orleans.
please go get Jalen Ramsey.
That would be very bad for the league. It'd just be very bad for the rest of the league because when Drew Brees comes back, man, and he has Jalen Ramsey and Marshawn holding it out on the defensive end, it's just going to get ugly.
I'm still not sold on our Saints secondary, but this is not new for them. This is a pattern they always have in the first 2 weeks of the season, from going back 3 years. They always play horrible and do beast mode-esque, Minneapolis Miracle-esque things earlier, but later down the road, the Saints defense does lock in and hold, and these crazy plays don't erupt like that. But with the acquisition of Jalen Ramsey, this Saints team could be great defensively. So, yeah.
He would look very good in some black and gold.
My 3 words are, though, trust in Teddy. I do realize that Teddy didn't have a great game. He was managing the game against the Rams.
Oh, Lord.
He lost 27-9. He was missing throws. The timing of plays were off, but the game plan wasn't designed for Teddy. It was designed for Drew.
Okay.
And give Sean Payton a week. He could create a game plan that surrounds Teddy's strengths. So I'm not ready because I believe Drew Brees is out 6 weeks with a thumb injury. I believe I saw you say in the group chat a little disrespectful. I didn't comment on it. I was waiting for me to do this. The Saints next 6 games, I believe they could get out with here with a 500 or above 500 record.
Oh, Lord.
I do have us beating Seattle, despite us not having Breeze. I know you don't want to hear that. I think the Saints can sneak one out in Seattle. Yes, I do.
Okay.
They'd be 2-1. Then they go Sunday Night Football in Dallas. Have us the Saints losing that game 2-2. Go back home in New Orleans after the Dallas game. We could beat Tampa. We could beat Tampa without Drew. Why not? Tell me why.
I just have the Saints losing 3 straight.
That's just so disrespectful.
I
have us beating the Bucks. Then I have us going to Duval and beating the Jaguars. That's 4-2. Have us going to Chicago. That's gonna be tough. But I do have us without Drew. I have us dropping that. So that's 4-3.
Okay.
And playing Arizona Cardinals, we could beat the Cardinals without Drew. That's 5-3. So that's 5-3 before we go on the bye. And let's say I could switch one of those games. Seattle. Let's say we drop that. We'd be 4-4. If the Saints are at 500 or above 500 after the bye week and Drew Brees comes back, they'll be in great shape. They'll run the table and win this division.
Hear me out. Got the Falcons losing to Indy this week.
Okay.
The Falcons will drop to 1-2. Then you also have the Saints who have losing 2 of the next 2 weeks, right?
I don't know why, but
then
crazy.
At that point, I have to go back and check Tampa's schedule, but at that point, that will be a time for them to run away with the division. And I just don't believe Bruce Arians let that team drop it in this time where they have the opportune time to make a run. I don't see it. I believe in Bruce Arians. I don't believe in Jameis, but I believe in Bruce Arians, and I believe he'll get it done. Bears versus Broncos.
I mean to cut you off.
Okay.
But the Saints, you got to get Kamara involved. I don't know if y'all were playing it safe because Breeze wasn't there or something, but 13 carries.
45 yards, 1 grab.
And 1 grab for 15 yards. It's not enough. And that's not even from a fantasy owner perspective. That's from a Saints fan. Please get Kamara involved. Arguably a top 5 running back. And arguably the best running back at being a dual threat with running and receiving. So, got to get that X factor to the ball.
Bears versus Broncos. Dinero for Panero. He was money for the game winner, baby.
So cardi.
Dinero for Panero. I still don't believe in Mitchell Trubisky. If it was any quarterback besides Joe Flacco, I believe the Denver Broncos win this game. But for the Broncos, man, it's time to just go ahead and put Drew Lock in the game. I know that this game was a bit close, but if you're wasting...
Well, was he a first-round pick?
No, he wasn't, but I'm saying if you're wasting valuable picks, go ahead and let these guys play. Your jersey sales are going to go up if the guys ball out. Your ticket sales are going to go up. Nobody's going to sell out seats wanting to come see Joe Flacco. That happened 6 years ago. Nobody wants to see it anymore. So, put Drew Lock in the game.
I don't know how to feel. Save Von Miller. I am with this new movement that's coming to the NFL with players requesting trades out of bad teams because they don't want to waste their careers losing all the time. So I think Von Miller probably will not do this because he's real.
He's very loyal.
He's very loyal. He's real. He's not like these new players. And it's not good or bad. It's how you perceive it. But Von Miller, you're wasting your career in Denver, man. I'm sorry. I know you're loyal to a fault. You're gonna stay there. They're gonna hang your jerseys up in the Raptors. But if you want to ever win again, I don't think it's coming in Denver.
Because it's been too long.
Kansas City's taking control of that division. Oakland's rising. Chargers. Yeah, so save Von Miller, man.
Last game of Sunday, Eagles versus Falcons. Don't buy in. I'm telling you, don't buy into the Falcons.
Oh.
They do it every week.
Some way, somehow.
The Eagles are very hurt.
Very injury riddled.
Every time they stepped out on the field, someone was down. I I'm telling you, don't buy into the Falcons. I know how great Julio is, and they have very good defensive players, and they have a good talent. They have good talent on paper, but those guys just can't seem to get it going when the times are needed. It's a very good game, but again, you look at Philly. They did not have Alshon Jeffrey or Deshaun Jackson. Nelson Aguilar dropped a possible walk-in touchdown. So with this team, I just say don't believe in the Falcons.
My 3 words is come on, Carson.
No, don't do that.
Come on, Carson.
Don't do that.
25 completion on 43 attempts, 231 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 INTs. You have him at winning. You had him winning MVP.
I could still see him winning MVP, but I saw a very funny tweet. They said when when Carson Wentz was on the sideline and saw Josh McCown put 3 completions on, he said he promised them that there would never be a Nick Foles situation again.
And that's what I'm saying with Carson. How is the backup quarterback not always outperforming him when they're on the field? And I know Carson Wentz is younger, more talented, fresher. He helped them get to the point when Nick Foles took over them. Then he won Foles won the Super Bowl. But it's Carson. Is Carson even let's say top 8?
No.
Top 10.
Off the dome, I can't do it because we haven't seen him win a playoff game. Haven't seen him in that tough environment.
Okay.
Have to go.
Name me some young quarterbacks. Give me some young quarterbacks.
Deshaun.
Don't say Mahomes. Okay. Yeah, those are the 3. I remembered it. Watson, Dak, Wentz. Rank them. It's tough, ain't it?
Deshaun, Wentz, Dak.
Why is Wentz over Dak? Even though you just say he hasn't been to the playoffs and everything else that would touch to that.
Because Wentz has just been somebody that, in the stretch of those tough games that they have had to play in the regular season, I believe in him more than Dak. I believe Carson Wentz there's never been a situation where you say, oh, if this guy holds out, Carson Wentz is screwed. Oh, if this guy doesn't play, Carson, he gets it done. Now, he hasn't been able to win the games, but if you look at that defense and what they did against the Falcons, I don't believe it was so much fault on Carson down the stretch.
Whoa, you saw him early INTs? You were strong?
Down the stretch.
Oh.
Now, but for Dak, I think by the end of the season, he could be number 1 if he keeps it up. I just say, if you're to say, who do you want to go get you 7 points? You're down by 7. You need to go win the game. You need to go tie it.
I don't know it.
And Carson can give you a 2-point conversion too.
Carson Wentz isn't the answer. That first answer that name that pops to my mind. I'm saying all this to say is that I'm not sold on Carson Wentz yet. Actually, It's just this team is too talented for you to be losing close games like this. You have a championship. You have championship pedigree in DNA, and you're losing games to the Falcons. Your defense runs all-out blitz and the Falcons do a screen. Cool, but you get the ball back. You don't go down there and drive. And I know that your team is injured with Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson out, and Ertz getting hurt on that final drive. But this team is praised for all their depth, but they don't pull out this game, even when their depth is in the game. So
I see it.
It's just Carson. I'm not sold on Carson yet. That's all I'm saying.
I can see it. I can agree. Now that we've done all of our Sunday games in 3 words, we're going to go through a little fun category we have where we will do all the top headlines in 30 seconds.
Hey!
15 seconds for each of us.
You got a timer?
Yes, I do.
I want me to do it.
You can do it.
Bet.
How
long?
30 seconds, 15 seconds for each.
Oh, bet. It's about to be fun. All right, you go first.
Boom. Minka traded to the Steelers. I think this is a very good move for Pittsburgh, possibly down the line. I think they're moving into a young team. Mason Rudolph taking over, so I can definitely see them moving towards the younger side, but this definitely helps their defense.
Not so much happy about Steelers getting him. Wish we would have came to New Orleans, but that's just bias coming out of me. But I do love it for the Dolphins acquiring those draft picks and building for the future when Tua Tagovailoa gets there. So good job, Brian Flores and company.
Okay. Next, Big Ben out for the season. With Big Ben, I think it may be time to call it quits. I know he wants to come back next year and prove everyone wrong, but I just think from the Steelers' standpoint, if Mason Rudolph comes in and ball, you definitely have to look to the possibility of trading Big Ben elsewhere to a team who could be ready like the Denver Broncos.
I do not see them trading Big Ben. I, however, do see Big Ben retiring if Mason Rudolph, like you said, has a good season. And Big Ben has a Hall of Fame career, so Ben, you could call it up and be a Hall of Famer regardless. That ring is not that. It's not close, man. I don't see it coming.
Next, Drew Brees out for 6 weeks. We did just touch on this in our Sunday in 3 words, but I definitely think the Saints are in trouble without Drew Brees. They do have dynamic playmakers on the offensive end and do continuously get screwed over by the referees. But without Drew Brees, I just don't think they'll be able to overcome it.
Get well soon, Drew. I love you. Yes, sir. And this, I believe in Teddy. I believe that we can ride the wave and manage to start being above 500 or at least 500 before Brees come back and run the table and have a playoff run, man. Go Saints. Who that?
Next, Daniel Jones names a starter. Daniel Jones, first-round pick for the New York Giants, is now calling the shots. Do I believe that they will be a contender? No, I do not, but I do believe we will see a bit more highlights. I do think we'll get excited for next season, and I do think with this play, the Giants are in play for Jerry Jeudy next year.
Ooh, Jerry Jeudy with the Giants would be nice. I wasn't sold on Daniel Jones getting drafted to the Giants. I wanted Dwayne Haskins to go there, like I said, with my Sunday in 3 words. Come out and prove us wrong, Daniel Jones. I'm rooting for you to be great. Might even pick you up in fantasy.
Lastly, Jalen Ramsey requests a trade. Jalen Ramsey, most people could say he's the best cornerback in football. I have him as number 2, but I think if you put him on any other team in a winning situation, he is very capable of doing things that put him in that number 1 spot. I also think he's very flexible, and you can put him at safety. I love him in Seattle.
Some teams might not want to go after Jalen Ramsey because he's a quote-unquote distraction and whatever diva, but distraction diva does not matter when it comes to winning. Look at New England, all the talent they acquire with AB and other players they acquire. Distractions are just labels for when teams are doing bad, but when they're doing good, it's not a distraction. So go get Jalen Ramsey, New Orleans.
Yes, sir. Every team wants New Orleans. Every team wants Jalen Ramsey, man. If your team isn't making an offer for him, man, they're not trying to get better.
They said they want 2 first-round picks for Jalen Ramsey.
Okay, here you go. You want a second too?
Without question.
You want a second
only
too?
bad thing that comes with Jalen Ramsey is you will have to pay him because he doesn't want that new contract.
Okay. Okay. But yes, that was our headlines in 30 seconds. That's a new topic that we will be dropping every Tuesday with this PACT Sports recap. Lastly, Thursday night football predictions. Titans at Jaguars.
Oh, save us, Fox.
I can't wait till next week when we
Save
get to
us.
see Eagles and Packers because this is the last week we have to go through something this bad. But, of course, I just said don't ever believe in the Titans, but I'm going to have to take the Titans. I do believe Jalen Ramsey will get traded before this game.
That's interesting.
I just see it happening. And, with all this turmoil, I just think from that video, I just saw Doug Marrone go over there and get in Jalen Ramsey's face. I just don't think those players want to play for him. After saying he had to say something to really get Jalen Ramsey that mad to where Ronnie Harrison and all the guys around there were like, Coach, you got to back off. So I just think the Titans will win this game, move on to 2-1, and the Jaguars will, without Jalen Ramsey, I believe, drop this game and move on to 0-3.
The betting odds I'm looking at for this game is 1.5 favorite for the Titans. It's a little too low in my opinion. But the Jaguars do have an elite defense, and the Titans are Mr. Unpredictable in the NFL. So I do have the Titans winning this game. I trust who thought I would say this, but I trust Mariota over the rookie quarterback and Minshew. So, and last time these two teams played on Thursday night, Derrick Henry,
beast mode,
99-yard touchdown, beast mode-esque, and it can possibly occur again in Tennessee. Which game is it, Jacksonville? Or it's in Duval? That doesn't matter. I have the Titans win. Titans win. They're relevant again. Then they may potentially drop the next game next week because that's in true Titans.
You never know. You never know. But, yes, that is all for the NFL here this Tuesday on the PACT Sports Recap. But we're not done. We do want to hit college football while we have the chance. There's not many big, week in, week out matchups in college football, but we do have 3 very big games this week.
That last one is really a big game.
Michigan and Wisconsin. Who you got? I'm going to take Wisconsin.
I want Jim Harbaugh to be a winner, but after struggling against Army, well, how can I pick y'all and be safe with that pick?
You can't.
I'm gonna take Michigan just off the strength of Jim Harbaugh is a winner. He was a winner in the NFL, and he should be winning in the college football. So I do have Michigan winning that game.
It's a different realm.
It is a different realm, but
grown men, and I think this is the game where most people will say it's time for him to come back. I believe that way already, but this is the game that he'll drop, and it'll be time for him to come back. Auburn versus Texas A&M. Who you got?
number 8 Auburn versus at the Aggies, Jimbo Fisher. Ooh,
I got Texas A&M.
I do have Auburn winning. What?
I just don't believe in Bo Nix. I'm sorry.
I think this game is a coming out party for Auburn to show them that they're not play and they're for real. When I say for real, I meant like top 15 team in the country for real. Showing they could be a Jimbo Fisher team in Texas. It just shows Auburn that you say, yeah, you should mention us in the SEC elites with Bama, UGA, LSU, and Florida.
Okay, I can see that. Lastly, the biggest game in college football this week. Notre Dame at UGA. I'm going to take UGA. Yeah, I'm going to take UGA. I just got UGA. I mean, Notre Dame, we know that they can pop off at any time and they're going to blow the sorry teams out. But this is the top of the SEC. This is a top 3 team in the SEC. No, you know, with Jake Fromm and that defense, there's probably going to be 3 guys on this defense that go in the first round next year. So I definitely got UGA, and I might have it in a blowout. Dang. It might get nasty.
Ooh, this is clearly the best. This is the best game we've seen since the LSU Texas game. So this requires some analysis. It's just after Notre Dame getting blown out in the playoffs against Clemson last season, I don't even trust them. And I do come on here and say that Big Ten is better than SEC, and I do believe that as a conference as a whole. But the top teams in the SEC are they don't be playing with these other tems.
Right.
So I do have UGA winning. Maybe not. I don't think in a blowout. I think Notre Dame will make this game interesting. But it is in Athens, Georgia. So Georgia Bulldogs will win this game, but Notre Dame will make it interesting. I don't think a blowout. You sound like Cut talking about that blowout.
Now, upset alert. I have USC taking down number 10 Utah at home.
Why?
It's college football, man. Pac-12. You never know. And Utah, what have they done? It's just the aura around USC going and playing in that stadium. It's something different, and I just believe Utah will get knocked off this week. This is where, third week of the college football season. This is week 4 of the college football season. Teams start to separate themselves, and I believe Notre Dame falls down. I believe Florida with Tennessee coming to town. That's a game that they should dominate, but I don't think they will. I think it'll be a little iffy, and I definitely see Utah falling down the rankings with a loss to USC.
Oh man, I don't see no upsets this week. All the teams that should win and our favorites to win should win. So no upsets for me this week.
Okay. And then other news, our quick ending to the show. Clash of Champions fallout. WWE news. How do you feel about it, man? Did you watch?
I watched the Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch fight. Loved it. They don't quite like the ending. I wish there was a winner, but their feud will continue past Clash of Champions, so it did make sense. What other match did I watch?
I just think the biggest takeaway is the Fiend. They're
pushing
him strong. Bray Wyatt, man, that guy. They're pushing him strong.
I think he will win at a Hell in a Cell as well when he faces Seth Rollins.
You can't have him lose. You definitely did. You knocked down everything you've built him over for the last few months.
That's the other match. Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton.
Oh, that was a very good match.
Kofi Kingston has had one of the greatest runs as a WWE champion as I can remember.
In recent memory, yeah.
Yeah, and shout out to Kofi, man. Hope it keeps going. Hope they keep the belt on you when SmackDown transitions to Fox as well. Another thing of note, the King of the Ring was crowned Monday night. Baron Corbin beats Chad Gable.
Can you guys take him out the suit, please? Please.
I did like them giving Corbin the King of the Ring. I like when the heel is King of the Ring. So they could be more ruly, more like snobby and snobby. Yeah. It's things like that rather than Chad Gable, who was having a great run in the King of the Ring tournament, by the way. And he hopefully his push doesn't end there. He has some quality matches, potentially get a mid-card title bout.
Spain wins the World Cup.
Shout out Marc Gasol.
Shout out Marc Gasol, man, getting it done everywhere. Ricky Rubio, them guys, man.
Even though you're not one of my players I like, but you they win an NBA championship, then the World Cup. That's in terms of basketball, it's a
hell of a ride.
You goated, yes,
hell of a ride.
But Team USA, man, losing to France, then Serbia.
It's Next year they're gonna have to bounce back. I remember
it's a reflection of this country.
Right, when they lost though in 2014, I think that's when the guys came back heavy next year. So maybe we'll see that.
But I do think that teams don't take the World Cup seriously as they take the Olympics.
Oh no,
that's why a lot of players didn't continue to play. Yeah. And also with them focusing more on the NBA season and how it's up for grabs this year that anything can happen. I take that as well as why a lot of players didn't participate in the World Cup team for Team USA.
For sure. And lastly, the NBA has banned ninja-style headbands. Drew Holiday, Jimmy Butler, even you, the Carter boys, when we go hoop, they wear the ninja-style headbands. How you feel about that, man?
It's NFL-esque, telling the players what they can and can't wear. I don't like it. I didn't like it when the NBA said they couldn't wear the what's the hoverboards into the game what J.R. Smith was doing, pregame. It's like they're cramping their style. And I don't even understand what's wrong with the ninja-style headbands. Why would they take it away?
There's nothing negative came out of it. I just think I really don't hope this is the direction the NBA is heading towards, because I feel like there's a changing of the guard. The NFL is moving up, and the NBA, with little stuff like this, is starting to move down. So I hope we just find a median between the best two leagues in the world.
And I don't know about the NFL with this player mobility. I like what Steve Young said, talking about a turn to the NBA, how the league should step in. It was interesting. I didn't like it. I would rather say it was interesting to see that somebody pointed out, and I can't speak. I wonder what the NFL would do with players requesting trades and how they will handle it.
But I don't feel like it's straight up trades and trade me to this team so I can link up with these guys. I feel like, because if you look at Khalil Mack, he didn't say, I want to go here. They traded him to Chicago, and it just happened to be a great fit.
Well, with him, it was his contract situation, though. Right. He wanted, since they won't pay him, he wanted to leave.
Right, but guys,
with these other players, their contract, Ramsey's contract is up, but Mika's contract wasn't up, I don't think.
Right, but these guys aren't giving you a preferred destination list, and it's like you can sign him, and he's gonna go. The agency isn't coming out and saying that.
Yeah.
So with the NFL, I feel like it's a totally different realm. It's all about the player. It's not just about elevating one franchise and deteriorating another.
Okay.
But, ladies and gentlemen, that has been all for episode 2 of the PACT Sports Recap. Be sure to tune in. This episode will be dropping shortly, as well as we will be dropping episode 31. Shout out Cam Chancellor for the PACT Life podcast on Sunday, right before the game. So be on lookout for that. This is your host, Damon Geis, with my good brother, Bruiser Carter.
Shout out to OC.
Yes, sir. Signing off.